Whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today. But if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on do our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel gboot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace.
All for this. I got a couple of homegirls who are doing this, a couple of homegirls who have already frozen their eggs. You know, they've been open about it. Angela Rye, you know, Kendra G. But it kind of saddens me a little bit, only because I'm like, what are we doing as men that these great women are out here and they got to do this?
Well, I'm going to be candid with you.
Okay.
Again, anybody could go get the club shot up.
Yeah,
I mean, let's be clear. Mm-hmm. I'm really not, if you're not the love of my life and also somebody I trust to make business decisions with, I'm really not trying to co-parent with you. There's certain things, y'all, at this point in my life, at almost 40, I'm really not trying to negotiate with you about getting my child immunized. It's non-negotiable. I'm not playing with you when it comes to my kids' education. There's certain, you know what I mean? And I know that might not sit well with everybody. That's not so politically correct, but I think I'd rather go it alone.
All for this. I got.
Well, that certainly says a lot. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another exciting edition of Random Topic Tuesdays here on channel gboot2786. Whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you are blessed and doing safe. Greetings, family. Oh, we're going to talk about it tonight. I got this to discuss on my mind, and I have a few issues with the Breakfast Club. Regarding a statement by Charlemagne, or aka Leonard, as Monique would say. Leonard, I'm supposed to be your sister, Leonard. And you had brother, when that brother walked his wife into the master's bedroom, That's you, brother. Have a nice day, babies, as Monique would say. But let us, and for those of you that are wondering, especially tonight, why I'm talking about this, why I'm not focusing on what happened in Texas, the mass shootings and so forth. That's for another time and date. Oh, I have to talk about that later this week. But I wanted to talk about this because I want, and we're going to be discussing Miss Ebony Williams' comments that are problematic, in my opinion. Whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you are blessed and doing safe. Joining us live on YouTube via GBoo2786, via my page, Gavin Richard, or Periscope on Twitter, as well as Facebook. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Shout out to Darius from Atlanta, Tyree, Dominique, as well as Danielle Meyer. We have some people here, ladies and gentlemen. I also want to bring to your attention, we have this event coming up, the pre-Mother's Day Laugh Your Butt Away that we have going on. It is on Eventbrite, ladies and gentlemen. You can actually, if you're in the Louisiana area, this Saturday, that's right, this Saturday coming, we have one of the, it's going to be a hot comedy show, one of the best shows in, no, let me correct that, not one of, the best show right now that's on its way this Saturday. It is the Laugh Your Butt Away, Laugh Your Butt Off, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to enjoy it. We got Terry Scott, Dory Dimples, Carrie B, and of course, myself, your lovely host with the most, G Rich, May 13th, 2023, at The Verdict. Ladies and gentlemen, you get tickets right now for $15. Of course, you don't want to buy them at the door. The Verdict Lounge and Restaurant is located at 9301 Lake Forest Boulevard, Suite 100 in New Orleans, Louisiana, in New Orleans East, New Orleans East Peace. So come on out. This Mother's Day, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be a great show. We may even have a few special guests that drop in, so you don't want to ever miss that. And Carrie B is a hell of a headliner, so you're going to want to see him. So shout out to everyone. Now, of course, we have Nani's Creole Seasoning Blend. I got to get some because we have some on back order, but I think everybody I've sent that out, tried on chicken, meat, or fish. Nani's goes great with every dish. That's our slogan, as well as the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby on Amazon Kindle. And we have Patreon, of course, Gmail, and Nani's Creole Blends. That's the website link. So I see, okay, Danielle's coming from home and school. I don't know how you do it with 3 kids, but she manages. Now, those of you, I want to get back to, we're going to get back right now to the Ebony Williams remarks, who, those of you who may have, some people may have not even heard of her until recently, but Ebony K. Williams, who is a reality star, she's an attorney. She is on Real Housewives of New York, which really doesn't make any sense because she's never been married. It's like ordering a hamburger without meat, without the ground beef. But okay, peanut butter with no jam or jelly, no night and day. It just doesn't make sense. But Ebony K. Williams, who is and she's also an attorney. I checked it up. She actually is from the Carolina areas. That's where she was born. She went to law school out here at Loyola, and actually clerked for, I believe, she worked for Louisiana Secretary of State and the AG's office here, especially during the Katrina period. So she's a very successful, I guess you want to call it that, woman. And I'll give her this. She is very attractive. I'm not going to lie. She is cute in the face to look at. But as Outkast sang in their classic, Caroline, she's the one who thinks she's really mighty fine, but the other half, it takes you from me eyes and realize that girls down home, I'm butchering the song, but you know, even though she needs a golden calculator to divide the other time and other half and realize that real guys go for down 2 more girls. I know you like to think your don't stink, but lean a little bit closer. See the roses really smell like boom boom. Yeah, roses really smell like boom boom. She's Caroline. Now, all right. So I'm not fresh up on my Outcast lyrics, but you get the pick. Now, she's a very attractive woman, I agree, but beauty is only skin deep, as the Temptations sang. And Ebony, of course, you know, this past week, I want to say about 2 weeks ago, she had Alana Van Zant on her show, and they were talking about relationships. And in particular, Ilana Van Zant asked Ebony, would she date a bus driver? And Ebony, with her comments and her remarks, she said, only, and I quote, only if he owned the bus. And Ilana Van Zant wanted to correct her about that. Now, many people took flack about what she had to say. They thought she was putting down bus drivers, she was putting down blue collar people. And your Ebony tried to Williams tried, and well, she didn't try to. She actually doubled down on what she had to say on the Grill. Now she works for the Grill, which used to be the Black News Channel, and now is owned as the Grill, owned by Byron Allen. Now she responds, and I'm going to play this for you all right quick. I want y'all to hear this video. This is a clip which she had to say in response.
Of a bus owner being a more aspirational position and recognizing that I am actually speaking and pouring into the ascension of Black men when I said what I said.
Now, she's talking about pouring into the essential of Black men when she said what she said. So when she was on, but later on she was on the Breakfast Club, she actually clarified in her comments, and you can listen. I won't play the whole video of the Breakfast Club. I watched the episode for 40 minutes. She was trying to say, I wasn't trying to put down bus drivers. I'm not putting down Black men. I didn't mention Black men. But here in your response, ma'am, you say you weren't talking about Black men, but you clearly are. And you're talking about blue collar workers. And the backlash, in truthfulness, is not about people were offended at the fact of your dating preference, because that's your right to have whatever spouse you want, to marry who you want. You can do that. You can have your preference of who you want, but you go public and say something, it is not about people's occupation. That happens on a daily basis. It's the elitist mindset and the mediocrity comments that you're spilling now about how Black people should accept, talk about mediocrity. When your whole interview with Ilana Van Zant was not about mediocrity and black excellence and the talented tent bullshit that you put on the Breakfast Club. It was not about that. And you didn't answer and you will see, really, if you watch the interview like I did on the Breakfast Club. Now I don't watch it often. She didn't really answer the call of the question, which was she was there for. And you'll see Dr. Umar Johnson even responded to her. But let me finish the video so you can hear what happened. Okay, I'm sorry, something happened.
Out of the 50,000, when I speak and recognizing that I am actually speaking and pouring into the ascension of Black men when I said what I said. But see, no, some of y'all were too busy naming and shaming me personally and Black women in general as undesirable, gold diggers, and much worse.
So now, because of what, so let me get this straight. You make a remark about what you've just clarified. You were talking about, essentially, you were, and you confessed to talking about Black men with your remark about the bus driver. And now, because you made that remark and you offended working class men, when they clap back at you, you want to make it about attacking all Black women. See, they trying to do this pull-in thing. Oh, we all got to stick together. Come on. They got attacking me. Oh, this is you getting at me. You getting at me. There are some black women who strongly disagree with what Ebony Williams said. You know why? Because they were married and are married to working class men. They are married to bus drivers. They were married to labor leaders and workers. My grandfathers, I've told y'all before, were both of my grandfathers who were World War II veterans. They worked as my grandfather, my mother's father worked as a longshoreman. He cut hair at night. My dad's dad, he was a postal worker. He was in the Navy as well. He was in World War II. He was a postal worker, and on the weekends when he was off, he laid tile. He did some carpentry work. He had a supplemental income. And let me tell you, being a postal worker is actually not a bad job. It is a federal job, and as you know, there are benefits. That's union. It's not that bad. Now, of course, depending on how many kids you have and what size family you have, of course, that all factors in. But a postal worker will make about $40,000 to $80,000, $68,000 a year, in that range. On average, he's making $56,000. And even plumbers. There are plumbers who are multimillionaires, depending on how many contracts they get. Now, you wouldn't think that a plumber is actually pays a lot of money, but it does, depending, of course, on how much business you get. But in Louisiana, a plumber average salary, according to Indeed, is about $24.24. Now, this goes up, of course. They got some that pay much, much more. It depends on the job. But the point being, they can make more than doctors. And a bus driver is not a bad job. I'm sorry to hear that, Star. But let's continue with these remarks.
Now, I suspect that some of y'all are the same men that were bringing home C's and D's on your report cards, only to then be coddled by parents that said, well, that's okay, as long as you're doing your best.
Well, let me stop. Okay, so let me stop right there. Now, that even was a lot of people, and I saw some women who were upset even about that remark. Even on the Breakfast Club, there was a sister that called in who didn't like that because you're talking about C's and D's, and you have kids here who also have learning disabilities. So that does play a factor there. But also, everybody is not on the same level as Gavin Richard. And even Gavin Richard brought in a C one time or a D once. Never had a failing report card. I was always an honor roll student when I was a kid coming up. If I made C's or I had a low grade on a test that was below satisfactory, very rarely did I ever fail. And if I did, my parents worked with me. I wasn't coddled. My father used to tell me, son, he said, when I would go to school, if I messed up, if I messed up, even not just in school, but if I did something wrong, and I wasn't doing something the correct way, he would say, you're doing things half-assed. Get a whole ass. You're always doing things half-assed. Do whole ass. And you can just look at the body language, how very defensive she is. And I'm going to play a clip from when she was on the Breakfast Club. She came in there defensive. She was talking for 22 minutes straight. She was talking over people. But men would obviously a nerve was touched when people came at Ebony. And this remark offended people. Nobody wants to have C's and D's on their report card. Yeah, look, I had, as a teacher myself, as a professor of law, I had students who didn't apply themselves. I had people that wouldn't try to answer a question. I would tell them how they needed to answer the questions, to prepare for the bar, how you needed to have, how you needed to write your question out. What's the ish call of the question? What are your rules? The rules being the Louisiana law that applies, and then that is applicable in this question. And then analyze that, meaning you apply your rules with the issue, the rules with the fact, the law with the facts, excuse me. And when they didn't do that, they didn't do good on their grades. And I had warned them multiple times. And the reason why I did that was to prepare them for law school. And Ebony Williams, you went to law school, so you know this as an attorney. And you know that everybody is not created equal. That's just the fact. But if everyone is not going to be an attorney, everyone is not going to be a doctor. If everybody did do that, then we would have a problem, because then half the shit in the world wouldn't get done. That's just the reality. Now, I will agree with this. There are some jobs that you have that are not meant to be career jobs. Like working, for instance, I'll give you an example. If you flip burgers at McDonald's, usually as a kid, that's something you start out doing because you learn. But I wouldn't see myself, and that's not and that's not a job. You're a mother or father, and you got 4 kids to feed, and you're making only $12 an hour. Well, that's a problem. And then you want to ask for the salary to go up, your hours, for the salary to go up. And the problem with that is that if that goes up, then other things have to be cut. Jobs will have to be cut. There's a balance that has to be there. So yes, that's not a job, I think, a career I would have as a kid. Now, maybe to start out when I'm 18 years old, 18 or 22 or something like that, when I'm in college, yeah. But that's not also to knock those people, because there are also some people who flip the burgers, people who fry the French fries at McDonald's. Of course, you go to McDonald's for the fries, not the burgers or the nuggets. They become managers. You might learn about franchising some McDonald's restaurants to make money. That's not bad as a bus driver. But what it showed here is that Ebony wants to be coddled. That's the thing. Now, you listen to the clip again.
Listen, I love and believe in the excellence of Black men. So no, my dear, C's and D's or any other form of mediocrity is not okay. No, I will not create a soft place for you or anybody that I love to fall comfortably into the bigotry of low expectations. So I'm going to say one more time, there's absolutely nothing wrong with driving a bus. My mother Gloria drove one for years. But could it be that Black America has...
Now she says, my mother Gloria. And I saw a Black authority call her out for that, because who calls their mother by their first name? But you will see, if you listen to the clip earlier that I played, the clip when we started out, Ebony didn't have a father. So that may explain some things. She said, I had to look out for my own. I had to look out for me. I'll never, and this is a woman who is not just flat out, if by what she said, she would not submit to her husband. Now I'm gonna finish this clip.
Been sold a narrative of average, regular, and typical being good enough for us. Well, see, that's called white supremacy. And in this case, it takes the form of conditioning Black Americans to happily accept being a permanent American underclass. But see, because I know the truth about Black folk in America, no, average is not and will never be good enough for me. And the gag is, I don't think it's good enough for you either.
Well, the truth is, Ebony, you are not good for us. And as a matter of fact, Ebony Williams You didn't want black men. You talk about black men, but this is your ex-fiance, according to the reports. Stephen Glenn. How can you speak on something if this is not what you wanted? If we're not what you want? It wasn't heading to marriage. According to reports, Glenn's children barely knew her, and she barely knew them. She wasn't engaged in their part of the life. They really weren't a New Jersey couple. The source also alleged that Stephen paid for her to live in a 3-bedroom apartment in New York's Four Seasons residences. It says Ebony, she went on the Wendy Williams show this year and said that her relationship with Stephen ended after he put his children before her in the midst of the pandemic. He chose to quarantine in New Jersey with his semi-adult children. And for me, listen, I'm not a parent yet. I get they are number one, but I need to be number one. And I wasn't number one, so I needed to move on. So what she just told on herself. Now, I ain't saying she's a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no broke. Now, this is a man who's 53 years old. I talked about him before. He is the CFO and COO of Warburg Pincus, which is an equity partnership that's invested more than $94 billion in 940 companies in the past 15 years. A $2 million house he has in New Jersey, and he has 3 kids, 21, 18, and 14. She's 37. So he's going to put his kids, of course, before you. And you coming from Fox News at that, which is another slap in the face. Not that we know what Fox News is about, what it has been for black people, towards black people. And that's not to say that CNN and MSNBC haven't been the same. They've all been bad. But she was a correspondent with Fox News before she was on Real Housewives of New York. And we're supposed to listen to someone like this. Yeah. So Ebony Williams is from Charlotte. She's known for Fox News specialist. She was a student of University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. That's where she got her BA. And she went to Loyola here. Supposedly, according to the Black Authority, she has family here in Louisiana, which that probably wouldn't surprise me. But let's not forget the show didn't last that long either. Fox News Specialist was canceled after just a few months. She was one of 3 co-hosts of that show, and it was canceled because Eric Bolling got suspended for sexual misconduct allegations. And that's when the 5 returned into its initial 5 p.m. time slot. Was she on Fox? I don't know. I didn't watch that shit. I didn't see anything about her being on Fox Soul, but who knows? Shit, all of them look alike. They got her. I saw a video. I didn't watch the video, but I saw somebody was trying to support her comments. It looked like, but she has that elitist mindset, and here she is. She's a real housewife of New York. And she's not even a housewife. She's not married. Where does this shit come from? How do y'all pick? They just pick these faces out of here. They're not even married. They have no. My mother watches this stuff. Real Housewives of Potomac, Married to Medicine, all this bullshit. I can't look at it. It's not for men. It's not for sane people. Yes, my mama's insane. But I want to play this video. Now, this is the clip. She went on the Breakfast Club and quadrupled her stance. And DJ Envy, and I don't even watch the Breakfast Club like talking about it, but Envy clapped back at what she had to say because he said a lot of his listeners, a lot of the bus drivers and so forth, the people who listen to the Breakfast Club every day were obviously upset about what she said. So why is it? Okay, so this is the clip.
This brother this and the black man this and the white.
Now, so what Envy is talking about is that earlier, Ebony is talking about is that earlier Ebony was talking about basically black excellence, black entrepreneurship, how we should be doing this and that, how we should be able to own the bus, how we should be able to own businesses, have this, all this stuff. And nothing is wrong with what she stated as to, yes, black people should increase ownership in economics. The problem that lied with everyone else was the mediocrity and the elitist mindset that she has towards blue collar people. And she could cry and clarify it all you want, like, oh, my mother was a bus driver. My mom was a bus driver. I got nothing against bus drivers. No, but you did. You talked ugly about them. I helped people. My mom passed her exam to be a bus driver. And guess what? If your mom didn't work, you didn't eat. Yeah, you helped her because you didn't have. If you didn't help her, you weren't going to survive. How the light's going to stay on? Who's going to put food in the refrigerator?
Talking about all this brother this and the black man this and the white supremacy this and this, that, and the other. That's all to the side of how you felt about that quote unquote average job, right? And I'll be honest with you, right? And one of the comments that I said, and maybe I'm not sure, right? The guy was like, you talk about all this about lifting a brother up and lifting this up and white supremacy and what you do for our people. And then the first thing the brother said was, but your fiance was white. And I'm sitting there like, how do you talk about how much you're uplifting and how much you're going for black people, but that's not necessarily what you're even looking for?
Well, first of all,
Paging Dr. Umar, damn.
So when you're talking about all this brother this and the black man this and the white supremacy this and this, that, and the other, that's all to the side of how you felt about that quote unquote average job, right? And I'll be honest with you, right? And one of the comments that I said, and maybe I'm not sure, right? The guy was like, you talk about all this about lifting a brother up and lifting this up and white supremacy and what you do for our people. And then the first thing the brother said was, but your fiance was white. And I'm sitting there like, how do you talk about how much you're uplifting and how much you're going for black people, but that's not necessarily what you're even looking for?
Well, first of all,
Paging Dr. Umar, damn.
Now, what this reminds me of, guys, before I get to the Umar Johnson clip and what happened in her response, I'm going to play her response. I'm probably just going to have to play the audio of it because I'm sure if I played the whole clip, somehow or another, the Breakfast Club would try to copyright the video and stop it. But this reminds me, I want to tell y'all something. I've seen women with this type of mindset, women that think like her, talk like her, have that basically snug narcissist attitude. And I'm going to give you an example, a real life example of what happened to me. First off, I was already an attorney. I was living in Baton Rouge at the time. Baton Rouge is about an hour and 20 minutes from New Orleans. And thank you, Phantom D. And I, had my own law office practice, still do. And I go there back there every now and then. But long story short, I was in a restaurant, and at this point, I would say I was pretty well known, established lawyer in the area. I mainly handled family law cases, and it was not uncommon. I see a lot of my colleagues. Baton Rouge it's a fairly big city, but not too big. It's still small. Technically, you're gonna run into people, and I ran into an attorney, female attorney, who I saw all the time on the fourth floor in family court. I'm not gonna name her name, but I was in a restaurant with my family, and I was getting ready to leave. I saw her, and I stopped to acknowledge her and say, "How you doing? How's everything going?" And she's like, "Fine, good," and all this stuff. And she was with a group of people, with a few people. I think not too many people, just a couple. And I just went up to talk to her and say hello. That's all. How you doing? How's business? That's good. It's good to see you. Just casual, friendly. Now, I hadn't spoken to her. I had seen her before. It was always cordial. We never really talked in depth. And this only went on for like a minute, for not even longer than 2 minutes. And I didn't want to interrupt her meal. She wasn't eating at the time. And I just said, "Look, I'm going to go back with my family, but it's good seeing you. I'll see you on the fourth floor in Baton Rouge." Okay. So this person was starting, I would say she had a practice. It didn't last long, with a friend of mine, another female. Now, this female and my friend and I were real tight. I worked with her mom. And we talked, just happened to talk on the phone about everything and what was going on. Because I think I was getting ready to move back to New Orleans at the time with my family. And she asked me, I asked her about the practice that she had. She was opening up, and she said, "Oh, that fell through. I wasn't going to do that." And, they had issues. And she said, "Let me ask you something. Such and such said something about you." I was like, "What you talking about?" And she said, "Well, she said she saw you in the restaurant and you came up to her." I was like, "Well, yeah, I did." And she said, "Well, she was like surprised you came up to her, because she was saying, who was he to talk to me? Why did he think he could talk to me? Or that he had the ability to speak to me, and such and such." And I was so surprised. I was shocked. I wasn't hurt by it, but more stunned, like, what? I wasn't going up to her to holler at her to get her number. I wasn't trying to get the draws or nothing like that. I just was saying hello to a fellow attorney, just greeting her, being friendly. And this heifer was talking about me behind my back ugly to someone I don't think she knew I was close with my friend. I don't think she knew how close I was with her. I don't think she knew that. But she was so, I guess, baffled that this peasant had the nerve to say hello to her. That's how it came across. And, this is not a shot at the AKAs, because I know some, the Chucks and Pearls crowd. I do know some AKAs, so don't take offense to this, but there are a lot of these, but I'm gonna be real. A lot of these Negroes in these sororities and fraternities look their noses down on working class folk. There are a lot of them who do that. Yes, they do some good in the community, but they got some people in their group who don't think average people belong in their crowd, in their clique. And they have that elitist mindset. And Ebony is a AKA, so it shows. And I knew a lot of AKAs on Southern's campus. A lot of them were spoiled brats. They had a stick up their ass. And by all accounts, some 20 years later, it's probably still lodged up there. They can't afford surgery to get it out. Their looks ain't the same, pretty girl. Yeah, their looks ain't the same either. Because all of that faded out. That cooch is worn out. They probably had 4 or 5 kids. Hey, it's all good. I know. It's worn out. I get it. But yeah, I'm going now. Because this is my experience. She didn't give a damn. I don't give a damn. But and like I say again, it's not a knock. I'm not saying that all AKAs or all Deltas are like that. I know some who are very cool. And like I said, they do some great things in the community. But I saw stuff like this from certain members, especially when I was there. And I also saw, and when I'm an attorney, I'm still in my 30s. I was in my early 30s when I saw this. I was about 30 years old. And I was just taken aback. I was taken aback by what my friend was telling me. I wasn't hurt by it and bothered. It was water off my back. But when I saw her in court, this particular lawyer, I wouldn't acknowledge her. I didn't do it. I didn't talk to her. No. Not I knew who she was. Why would I? And this is what Ebony Williams is.
Drivers, I don't think any of those people are average or mediocre.
I'm not saying they're.
And just listen to what she's saying here.
Because I don't think essential workers are average. I don't think essential workers are mediocre.
Let me finish this statement.
I don't think Uber drivers, bus drivers, I don't think any of those people are average or mediocre.
I'm not saying that the people are average. So let's slow it down.
I don't think the job is average.
The job is average.
I don't think
the job is average by definition.
So what
That's
what
we're talking
about. That are holding college degrees that have to drive Uber right now because
they're doing mediocre work. So Weezy, let me be very clear.
So what were you doing when you were in college? You didn't have student loan. I know you had student loan. How did you eat? Even as a clerk, I clerk for law firms too. Now, if you clerk with the state, you probably got a little more money. But you weren't owning 2 houses. You didn't have a Bentley and a car. I know that didn't happen.
So what I'm not saying, no, y'all got to listen to this. I am not saying that a piece of paper makes you a more valuable individual. I didn't say that. I don't believe that. Some of y'all were too busy naming and shaming me personally and Black women in general as undesirable, gold diggers, and much worse. Now, I suspect that some of y'all are the same men that were bringing home C's and D's on your report cards, only to then be coddled by parents that said, well, that's okay, as long as you're doing your best. Well, listen, I love and believe in the excellence of Black men. So no, my dear, C's and D's or any other form of mediocrity is not okay.
I think what's the real question is if C's and D's aren't good enough and you're saying that a higher education
are good enough?
What I'm saying is you're saying a higher education also doesn't mean that, then what do they have to do to be excellent? Because I'm someone who did have C's, B's, A's. I own 3 businesses. I'm sitting here with all y'all and shit. We all make 7 figures. Maybe I'm on the lower end of this as a mediocre person. It's like,
you don't know what I make. I don't make that kind of money.
Why are you lying? He probably makes 8.
Listen, you couldn't tell him about
But Weezy, did you hear my story about my mother? Weezy, she doesn't have a college degree. My grandfather didn't, but she never did it.
I did hear about your mom.
Right, so she's not mediocre, but when she drove that bus, she was doing mediocre work. We can call her up and she'll say that. And that is the framing.
But what do they have to do to surpass it then for you?
You have to do something, not for me.
But by your standards, because if Charlamagne is saying it's not mediocre or average,
be white. Be white for her.
And the people listening feel like they're not by your.
Okay, I just want people to stand on it. I want people to stand on it. If you are a person, and we're talking about Black America, and you feel as if you have maxed out your skill set, whether it's in the classroom or when you wake up in the morning and do whatever it is that you do, then God bless you, and I support and love you. I am talking to Black people that I know have a potential skill set that is untapped. So that's the difference between mediocre and exceptional. Not the piece of paper, not even the...
What it is, guys, is that she doesn't want a bus driver in her tax bracket as a husband. You heard it when she spoke earlier about frozen her eggs. She'd rather go it alone. But the reality is that she's not going alone. She's forced to go alone because there is no man that wants to be with a woman like that. That is arrogant. That is pompous, annoying. You would have to hear that every day. And then, yet alone, if the marriage didn't work and you got divorced, you know it would be worse. How she would react with the kids, having the kids talk down to you. This is not a woman you want marrying. This is not a woman you want to spend the rest of your life with. This man, that white man, couldn't put up with that. If she couldn't cut the mustard with him, what makes you think she could cut it with you? What makes you think brothers want to even, a bus driver would even want to be with you, Ebony? What you said made no damn sense. If you're saying be exceptional, but yet you're still at the same time saying, well, if you got this job, you got that, it's average. You got that, it's average. You ain't got that. You know, it's elitist. That's the problem with the talk. And I'm going to play the part where Ebony, I'm going to finish this, and I want to play what
the income. It's, are you complicit and complacent in what you are doing currently? Or are you willing to go above and beyond and do the thing that most people won't do? By definition, Weezy, that's where exception lies.
Could be the nurse that drives Uber on the side. I think that's why
my father was a military. He was a mechanic. He was a bus driver. He was a police officer.
So he was exceptional. Your father was exceptional.
My mother worked at Guardian Life Insurance. I'm the first person in my family to go to college, first person to graduate from college, and my parents put me through college. So I don't look at them as mediocre. I don't look at them as average. They are exceptional, and they did what they did to get their kids through all this stuff.
What you said is so different than what I'm talking about.
I am the same with them, and I am the same.
That is just not intellectually honest.
And the difference is what you said is, oh, you want to encourage and you want to do this. I do the same thing without putting people down.
I'm not putting people down. I'm being very honest.
I think you are, and people have been saying, I don't think you're listening. Like, as much as you talk, you're not listening to what people are saying.
Listening. I'm not bothered by that, though. I'm not going to be shamed.
And they have opinions. Just like you have your opinion, you can't talk over people and not let people talk.
But you're also interrupting me, Envy.
I'm not. I was talking. You keep talking to me. I let you speak, and then I just started talking.
Okay, you got it.
I just started talking. I let you speak, and I waited for you to be quiet, and I started talking. You heard something that you didn't like, and you cut me off.
That's how it just went. Because once you start being intellectually dishonest,
there we go. Now it's not Envy. Go ahead.
No,
that's exactly what happened.
Let's keep it.
No, but if I give somebody the platform to speak, and I let you speak, then I speak, and you have to listen, just like I listen. Just like with Weezy and Mandy, when they speak, I listen. It doesn't matter that we don't agree or disagree. We can have a conversation, but we got to respect each other in this conversation.
I agree.
I think that
part of that respect is being honest.
Yeah, I think the conversation.
She said something. He said something she didn't like, and she says he's basically lying. But we all heard what you had to say. If you all listened to what she had to say, if you listen to what she had to say and speak earlier, it spoke for herself. It speaks for itself. If you listen to the whole Breakfast Club interview, I'm not going to play all of it. I'll play bits and pieces of it, but just listen to what she's saying. And she's not really answering the call of the question. It's what she was talking about with Ilana Van Zant. Ilana Van Zant. And she broke down how she didn't have, and you saw the video earlier, I told you. She didn't have a father. She didn't have a male influence in her life. Oh, I was with my mama. So that's why she's going at it alone. That's why she's freezing her eggs. And I'm not attacking her because of her choice in men or her, if she wants a white man, if she wants to get married to a Chinese man, a Jewish man, that's her right.
How do you talk?
And who she wants to date is her preference. But I'm not, and frankly, I'm critiquing her the same way I critique Steve Harvey. for those of you that may think I'm being sexist, oh, I'm going at her because she's a woman. No, I've gone at men for saying stupid stuff. Steve Harvey was one. Yeah, she cut him off and got loud because she heard something she didn't like. She had a man check her. That's what she didn't like. DJ Envy, I don't watch, like I said, I'm not a big fan of the Breakfast Club, but I applaud DJ Envy for at least checking this woman. Checking Evan Williams.
People were upset that they felt like that you were putting down the average person, quote unquote, average job, and the person that was working the average job, that their what they do is not as good as what you do.
That's a projection, Envy. Envy, that's a projection because you know what?
I'll let you speak.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So when you start talking about all this, and I read the comments just like you did because I wanted to prepare myself when you came up here to understand what people were mad about and understand what people were upset about. So when you're talking about all this brother this and the black man this and the white supremacy this and this, that, and the other, that's all to the side of how you felt about that quote unquote average job, right? And I'll be honest with you, right? And one of the comments that I said, and maybe I'm not sure, right? The guy was like, you talk about all this about lifting a brother up and lifting this up and white supremacy and what you do for our people. And then the first thing the brother said was, but your fiance was white. And I'm sitting there like, how do you talk about how much you're uplifting and how much you're going for black people, but that's not necessarily what you're even looking for?
Well, first of all,
paging Dr. Umar, damn.
Well, let's address it. And let's not skip a beat. So I would love to know how you, Envy, know what I'm looking for, because we never had the conversation.
I don't know. I'm telling you what people are saying on comments, what I've read, and I'm talking for them. I'm not a bus driver. I'm speaking for the average person out there, because I feel for them, because the bus drivers and the average person are what keeps these lights on here on the Breakfast Club. That's right. They keep me booking shows.
Nobody is saying, okay, first of all, this is not about you booking shows.
I'm just telling you how I feel. So when you shit on the people that ride with me,
Envy, you're dead ass wrong for framing it as me shitting on them.
You don't think I was shitting on them?
I know it. First of all, I know it wasn't. I think what you're saying right now is irresponsible. I think what you're saying is irresponsible. Envy, I think what you are framing right now in this moment is highly irresponsible. Because I'm going to, if you listen, I'm going to tell you. Because if you were to listen to all of the full Yana interview, the full sidebar, the full episode of Holding Court, nowhere in any of that commentary did I say a cross or negative word about the working class of Black America, of America broadly, or Black men. I'm going to get to the why was my fiance. Envy, let me finish this statement.
Do you know what people feel?
I'm going to get to.
Just because you didn't mean to hurt somebody, just because you didn't mean to affect somebody, doesn't mean you didn't hurt a community. I could say anything about somebody and be like, I didn't mean to hurt you. But if you hurt people, you hurt people. If people feel a way about you, they feel a way about you, because those people that you talked about are the people that buy your books, that listen to this show, and they're hurt.
Ebony, what about words like average, mediocrity, typical, and the bigotry of low expectations? I think those are the words that hurt the working class.
You can sit here and say, no, I didn't hurt nobody. You hurt people out there that buy your books and follow you and support you.
You asked me to be quiet. Y'all, please. Y'all asked me to be quiet. I listened to your full statement. I understand you have a feeling about it.
22 minutes, and I just spoke for 60 seconds.
She is here to talk to him.
I know, but I just spoke for 60 seconds.
We got ours off already.
Charlamagne's punk ass is trying to play both sides, siding with Ebony. She didn't let the man talk. She cut him off.
I did. I'm just returning what she said. But don't act like I didn't let her speak. She spoke for 22 minutes.
Go ahead, Ebony. Let her talk. Don't do that. Let her go. Go ahead.
It's crazy how this whole debate even started, because Ebony said that she prefers not to date a bus driver. She would rather date the person that owns the bus. And she was just talking about how what she wants. She said she's not degrading nobody. She's not trying to make it seem like if you're a bus driver, then you just trash, your life sucks. She's not saying that. She's saying what she prefer to date. And I looked her up because I never really heard of her before, but she's a author. She is a lawyer. So I'm pretty sure she's making some real money. And like most people, when you make a certain dollar amount, you want somebody to match that. You don't want to get with nobody and you making...
I can't listen to this thing, bro. Whoever this is, it's her preference. I think, and look, no offense to the brother, I think he's getting it, and I haven't played the whole clip, but the direction he's going in, yeah, of course, you want to make money with someone and so forth, but really, in truthfulness, she wants to It's not that she wants to match with somebody. She wants somebody to provide for her, which is what that white boy, who that white dude was, she was engaged to. That's what it ultimately comes down to. She wants somebody to provide for her, and a bus driver to her wouldn't do that. Yes, she's entitled to her preference. Yes, she can have whatever man she wants, what she's looking for. I don't have a problem with that. The mediocrity comment and this mindset and how she comes across, because you know, how you say something is even tempting. It can be even more important than what actually comes out of your mouth. If you're aggressive, if you're ugly with someone, your attitude, your temperament actually means much more, has more impact than even what you say. And I know because I see it in court. And I deal with people. That happens. So is nobody trying to take up and say, oh, she can't have this? Fuck, she can have whatever she wants. Nobody was thinking of her ass. Nobody was thinking of her. She starts this. You're a public figure. And let's be real. She's saying this stuff about how she wants the bus driver to own the bus. Let's be real. What's the odds of that happening? The odds of that are slim. Yeah, he ain't talking. The odds of her getting the man that owns the bus company are slim to none. You can think high and have all the expectations you want. Not happening. It's extreme. I'm not gonna say there ain't a possibility, but it's slim. Listen what Umar had to say.
Remain in envy today. Very well spoken sister. What's her name? I've seen her. What's the sister's name, brothers and sisters? Ebony. Ebony K. Williams. Well spoken sister. She made some great points, but dear Ebony, that's not what you was talking, sweetheart. That's not what you was talking. You was on some talented 10th bullshit, and you tried to take it back to the community this morning, sister. See, we can't talk out both sides of our mouth. We can't talk out both sides of our mouth, sister. We can't talk out both sides of our mouth. I didn't disagree with much of what you said today, but that's not what you said the other day, sister. You was talking down to working class blacks. Right. You are a bourgeoisie. You are a bourgeoisie feminist. And I hope to God you wasn't engaged to no white man, because I thought somebody said you was engaged to a white man. Ebony, I better not find out your ass was swimming in the milk. If I find out your ass was swimming in the milk, I'm going to lose a lot of respect for you, sister. Because what that tells me, if you were with a damn Neanderthal snow puppy, then you're telling me at the end of the day, you are trying to condemn black men to justify dating white. If you are an interracial dater, if you are a bunny hopper, then what you are telling me is your whole diatribe, your whole rant against black men driving the bus was a justification so you can date a white man. I hope that ain't the case. I hope that ain't. You spoke well today, my sister. You still didn't deal with collective work and responsibility, though. I still heard a lot of Eurocentric individualism. I still heard a lot of Eurocentric individualism. And I don't know where you've been getting your reports from, sweetheart, but we got 2 million Africans with college degrees unemployed. We got 2 million Africans with college degrees unemployed because you was doing a whole lot of pushing college. You was doing a whole lot of pushing college today, like it's some form of upward mobility. I'm sorry, Sister Ebony K. Williams. College is not an opportunity for 21st century Africans. College is not an opportunity for 21st century Africans. It's putting us into debt to the banks, my sister Ebony K. Williams. So where is your solution for collective group economics? I didn't hear none of that. All I heard was European, Eurocentric, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, individualism. That's all the hell I heard this morning. I wish I was there. I wish I was there. I wish I was at the Breakfast Club today with Ebony K. Williams. I had a few comments and questions for my sister. Oh, yes. No disrespect. I love my sister. I love my sister. Don't get me wrong now. She said some good things today, but she departed from the original narrative she was pushing on our working class Africans the other day. She departed from her attack on black males with blue collar jobs. Ebony K. Williams, do you know that you got plumbers who make more money than doctors? Ebony K. Williams, do you know you got carpenters who make more money than surgeons? Ebony K. Williams, do you know you got chefs who make more money than engineers? You got plumbers who make more money than architects. I think you got to go look at your census data, my sister. You got to go look at your census data, my sister. You got to go look at your census data a little bit better, because I heard a whole lot of Eurocentric, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, individualism. I didn't hear a single group solution on that conversation today from Sister Ebony. I didn't hear a single group solution. I'm just keeping it real. I'm just keeping it real. No disrespect. I respect my sister. Very articulate, well-spoken, but I don't hear a lot of conscious energy coming from her. A lot of my middle-class, bougie black sisters, they on that individualism, Europeanism. Peace, Baba. I'm going to get with you in a minute. I saw a lot of European individualism, brothers and sisters. Where the group solutions at? Oh, just go to college and get yourself a job and save your money from your bus job and open up a business. Where the fuck is the group solutions at, Ebony K? Are you related to Tasha K? Where the group solutions at? Where the group? I ain't hear a single group solution out that sister's mouth this morning. Not a single group solution. A whole bunch of feminism and European individualism disguised as collective work and responsibility. You can fool some of the people all the time, and all the people some of the time. You can't fool King Kong consciousness none of the time.
So yeah, you heard Umar just lay waste into her and what he had to say. Yeah, he was telling the truth. Nico said Dr. Umar Johnson messed his mustache while trimming his beard. Yeah, college ain't for everybody. College, I mean, be real about it. That is a debt trap. Of course, back in the day when I was coming up in the 90s, they were intelligent. They were recruiting kids to go to college, how to get an education, get your degree. I couldn't wait to do all of that stuff, because then you say, oh, you'd be on your own and you have all of this stuff and that, and learn about the world coming into it. And you realize on the other side of it, this ain't shit. Now, I'm not saying there aren't some degrees that aren't worth it. There aren't some occupations that aren't worth it. Of course, as an attorney, I had to go to college. It was necessary for me to complete that first, then complete law school, which I know Ebony Williams has completed law school, but she also had to inquire, unless she got some scholarship, she had to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loans. May still be paying them. I don't know her salary. On top of that, of course, you want to be a doctor, an architect, you had to go to school, but some people couldn't afford it. Life happens. I don't know if she's still living there, but that was his apartment. If he was paying for it, that's his apartment. And I know she didn't keep that man for that years and be engaged for him to buy that apartment for her have that apartment, his apartment, if they weren't intimate. Let's just put it that way. He wouldn't have shown interest because Ebony Williams is a fine woman. And I'm not saying she's not intelligent. She clearly is. But she's gold digger. Because she come across, to me, it sounds like a gold digger by her remarks, her attitude. Like I said, I've dealt with women like this. And I'm speaking on it because we got working class people who come and tune into this channel, people I represent who work hard, that I know are somebody. And while they may not have Ebony K. Williams looks or monies, I don't have $1 million as of yet. I haven't been on, well, I've been on television before, but maybe not as frequently as she is or as successful as she is. But I got something she doesn't have: class. I have machismo, masculinity. There's pride in myself. And I have that even without money. How I dress, how I talk, how I walk in a courtroom with confidence. Compassionate. That's things that is inside of here, not out there, not with this. Yeah, she's on Real Housewives of New York. But she said herself, she didn't have a daddy. So that's the problem. But women don't follow, and I know another thing with celebrities, women, ladies, don't follow these celebrities, like talking about them. And I noticed that, they are human just like us, and they got more issues. That's proof. That behavior is proof that they have more issues than just as the average person. Money don't change that. Well, yes. I think, actually, if I'm not mistaken, the enrollment of Black I'm trying to see what is the actual number. So according to the American Association of University Women, they say women are more than likely than men to earn degrees. Black women get 64% of bachelor degrees, 71% of masters, and 65% of doctoral, medical, and dental degrees. And while, yes, that is not to say that there aren't a number of Black men in college. I remember some years ago, they were trying to say how there were more Black men in jail than there were in college, and that wasn't true because you have to count now as well with college curriculums. There's not just a full-time schedule, there's something called part-time. And even with colleges now, you can enroll in online classes, which makes it a little bit more easier. The way that they set up the polls, they would say it was listed basically, they would take the full-time students and calculate that by population, the enrollment numbers, and the full-time students, of course, that were in the day program. Let's say that they didn't have, obviously, the women outnumbered the men. But you also had to factor in there's night school. You had to factor in there's classes online now. Even with COVID, remember, they had to switch to online because nobody could be in classes. Now they started to bring it back. But the point being, it made it much more convenient for men, especially if you had to work in the day. So it does happen. She forgot to mention the student debt that they were in. Yes. You can be successful and yeah, you can be educated, but guess what? You got to pay debt. You have to pay bills, just like your mom. That's why she had to study to be a bus driver. You talking about, I helped my mom be a bus driver. No, you didn't. Your mama had to do it to support your ass. And you had to help her because otherwise your ass was going to be out there on the street. My father was a pharmacist. And as a pharmacist, he had to rotate at different stores. My mom was a med tech. She worked in the day. Sometimes my dad had to go in late at night, and he owned his own pharmacy for a long time. The business closed because you want to know why? We had family members, we had friends, people we trusted that stole from my father, from us, from our company. But my dad had the degree that he could fall back on, that he could go to Eckerd's or Walgreens or K&B or Rite Aid and rotate to support his family. That's the way it was. I've had to work multiple jobs, even as a lawyer. I didn't make, lawyers don't make, I'm being real with you, we don't just make 6 figures coming out of law school. You got to work your way around with anything. You got to get people, let people know you, know where you're at, who you are. How I started to get clients was word of mouth. As soon as I came out of law school, my first case, I knew the mom of my future client. And she hit me up asking, hey, can you do this? I said, yeah. How much you charge? I said, such and such. Okay, here you go. That's how it was. I just started hustling. And more came in. I did wills. I still do them. They're worth it. You have to hustle. But nothing comes to you, even in comedy. I mean, I got more no's. I'll tell you this. I've got more no's than yeses in this business. That's why I started promoting my own shows. Yeah, comedians struggle. Eddie Murphy, he was lightning in the bottle. Same thing with Freddie Prinze. They got them when they were able to succeed when they were young because they started young. Eddie Murphy was a teenager when he was on Saturday Night Live. Freddie Prinze was a teenager when he started doing stand-up. Eddie was a teenager when he started doing stand-up. And he caught a break because they were going to originally fire that entire SNL cast after the 80-81 season because they replaced the original SNL players, not ready for primetime players, and only Joe Piscopo and Eddie Murphy were left. And Dick Ebersol took over for Lorne Michaels. And there was a white woman who was the actual producer. She got fired that year, and Eddie Murphy was the breakout star. So he caught on at a good time, the Reagan years. Nobody saw a black kid that could play an old Jewish white man. Eddie Murphy did that. And then from a lawyer, Johnny Cochran, of course, didn't have the money. He had to start out in the DA's office. He had to have people ask questions. They wouldn't let him ask questions when he was a prosecutor. He had to sit second chair. You work your way up. That's just the way it is. So life is all about hustles. And yeah, you don't ever want to accept second best. You want to be the best. But guess what? You can be the best. If you only want to be a plumber, you be the best plumber you can be. Be the best architect you can be. If that's all you want to do is be an architect. If you want to be a doctor and be the best at it. But and the same thing for being a lawyer, comedian, actor, whatever. No, it knows that everybody can't be the same. Like General Patton said, if we all thought alike, something is wrong. If everyone thought alike, something is wrong. But at any rate, I'm even looking at this. So yeah, I got some news that came in. I saw that Trump lost his lawsuit, which he wasn't even participating in. And he got the jury awarded her $5 million. They'll likely appeal that, man. Because all of that money, she's not getting all $5 million. The lawyers, as you know, get 33% of that. And if there's an appeal, which I'm sure there likely will be, she's going to get more. They're going to take out more. So that's interesting. Yeah. So they're all about that Trump losing his lawsuit. That's all I'm hearing. I did hear that reparations, California's getting ready to approve. The task force stated that $1.8 million should go for reparations towards blacks, but I've read reports that all black people will not qualify for it. There's a qualification for it. So I'm gonna do some more research and talk about that later, but we're gonna talk about that probably Thursday. And look at this. I saw this Chevy Shabazz, aka Tamika Mallory. I'm just looking at this. I haven't seen the video, but somebody comment as we're pushing Biden for an anti-black hate crime bill. Sell out Tamika Mallory ran interference for Biden. So I can't just
So he did immigration, you know, obviously stopping this stupid wall that they're building. He dealt with the Muslim ban, getting rid of the Muslim ban.
Which has to do with black people how?
And he dealt with making sure that I think 11 million people will become citizens. So he's doing things, right? But with black folks, you can't just sign something to say stop killing black people. It's not that simple. So he did immigration, you know, obviously stopping.
Wait, what the hell? Tamika, aren't you forgetting that didn't Joe Biden push an anti-Asian hate bill to protect Asians? And you're saying he can't just sign something for black people. Really? And she's on Drink Champs. She's on Drink Champs. I don't watch that either. Yeah, somebody even wrote about it. The bill literally said Asians and Pacific Islanders. Yes, it did. That was a COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act. They had it even with the preamble that's in it. The purpose of it was, and it says here, following the spread of COVID-19 in 2020, there has been a dramatic increase in hate crimes and violence against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. And by the way, this act was passed in May of 2021, which is Asian American Pacific Islander Month. So it is not a surprise. But Tamika Mallory saying this, it is not a surprise that he did it. He won't do it for black people because they know they can step and walk over us without consequences. Yes, it is, Lamiko. Thank you. It is. Oh, this is the AAPI. This is the hate crimes bill, and you got Tamika Mallory saying this shit.
There are 4 versions.
This is the bill. And let's not forget, I've talked about this before. She says it's in general, but the bottom line is, while it may be a hate crimes bill, they already have the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act. Anything he passed, he specifically did this. He said it for AAPI. They added that in here. They put the names of the Asians that were killed in Atlanta, Georgia. They specifically mentioned this. He has specifically passed bills. Okay, let's go further. He has passed bills to protect homosexual marriage. And he's talked about supporting transgenderism. He even says that a child can be whatever sex they want to be. So the point being, ladies and gentlemen, if he wants to advocate for other groups, he will advocate. If he wants to sign bills for other groups, he will do that. He will not do it for black people. And Tamika Mallory is, if you ain't believed it now, she is full-blown bootlick. A demagogic, and I say that correctly, bootlick. That's what we got going. That's the biggest problem with the black community right now is cooning and buffooning. We got too many people who want to be in these places. We anoint them. I don't know how because I don't pick them. And they get to make these decisions and say this shit on national TV, on the internet. Why do y'all think Charles Barkley is on CNN? It ain't because he's the most articulate journalist in fucking news. Hell no. He can say the things that white people are not able to say without being called racist. Don Lemon was the same way, although in that last thing he did, he grew a pair. That last interview he had with that Indian American and checking him, he grew up. Well, I'm not going to say he grew a pair. He already had it, of course. It was just somewhere else. It was tucked in. You know, he wears his tucked. So, but Don Lemon, I don't care. I don't like Don Lemon. But I give my props where they need to be. But I'm gonna roll out of here, y'all. We had a long night. I need y'all to please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Hit that notification bell when we go live. That way you'll not lost. You know we're live. We've had a great talk, and these are the same black woman, Ebony Williams, will support. Tamika, Chevy Shabazz. Nobody picked you, and this is the same Tamika Mallory that the mother of Tamir Rice, Sonora Rice, called her out. Now, yes, she's actually, I know she supported Minister Farrakhan in the past and stuff, but let's be real. Tamika Mallory, she's doing this for clout. She does not represent our people. She represents herself. Chevy Shabazz. She's doing commercials with Escalade and all of this stuff. Yeah. I enjoyed it too, Cece. Shout out to Darius from Atlanta. Yes, make sure you get your copy of The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby on Kindle. Darius, by the way, those that have the book, I need to know, and I need you to please write a review on Amazon when you download it. I know I've talked about getting the book in hard copy, and let me just explain what has happened. I have talked with my illustrator, who is going to work with me on getting the hard copy. It's been hard getting in touch with him, but we are working on getting the hard copy together. There's a lot that goes within that, but we will definitely do that actually this week, soon, to take care of that. So I'm gonna wrap this up. We love y'all guys. Be safe, be blessed. Please donate to the Cash App, PayPal, Zelle to support the channel. DeAndre, I'm glad you asked, man. Yes, we got a show this Saturday. DeAndre Mosley, I'm waiting to see you. Hold on, let me put this up. This Saturday, guys, you can buy your tickets right now. DeAndre, it's right in New Orleans East, so it's not that far from Slidell, brother. Go to the Eventbrite right now. Pre-Mother's Day, laugh your butt away. comedy show started at 8 p.m. I was about to say a.m. Yeah, y'all gonna show up there with your pajamas on. Nobody, everybody coming there thinking they could get brunch for free. No, come there 8 p.m. $15 on Eventbrite, 20 at the door. It is a great comedy show. We've done nothing but great things at the Well. I got a video trailer I'm gonna be dropping later this week to promote the show. It's actually coming up. So get your ticket now on Eventbrite. What's DeAndre? You can go there. I'm gonna leave the link in the chat for you actually to go there. So we got Terry Scott, Dory Dimples, Carrie B, and myself, your host, G Rich. We're going to make it do what it do, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a great night of laughs. They got food at this place, too, DeAndre. So if you want to order food, you'll be great. If you want to get a drink, you'll be great. It's going to be great, man. It's all great. Great grapes. Y'all going to enjoy yourselves. So we're going to roll out of here. I'll be back later this week, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all be safe and be blessed. But this was great discourse to talk about this. I'm glad we did. All right. Y'all take it easy, okay? I'll holla. Peace. Let's get out of here.